Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It's Memorial Day here in the United States of America. It's just a wonderful day, an amazing day to come live, on the Wholeness Project to share something amazing with every one of us. But before I go on today, I just want to use this opportunity to just say thank you to all families and friends all over the world and in the United States, especially for the sacrifice of their families and their loved ones, that took time, to go on the battlefield and in just different areas of being in the front line, just to protect the United States of America and the nations of the earth. We pray that all the families that might still be grieving, families that are dealing with a lot of struggles, concerning the loss of their loved ones. This Memorial Day will be a beautiful one for them and not one that will cause them pain and sadness. And also, I just want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone all over the world that is streaming live, with us on this Wholeness Project. Is a weekly program, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time Zone, that is focused on looking at core four pillars of our lives, that is our families, our relationships, our mental health, and spirituality, and to see how we can restore wholeness and renewed focus to these areas of our lives. And like is our tradition, we like to share great information using our slide and our resources. And I hope this is going to be a big blessing to you today. And today I'm going to be sharing on an amazing subject that I call Feel It, Don't Feed It. How you can master your emotions before they master you. I mean, this is a big struggle and big challenge today. How our emotions seem to be governing our lives. So, today's episode on the Wholeness Project will be to help you and I just to feel our emotions, but we shouldn't feel it because if we don't master our emotions, they're going to hurt our families, hurt our relationships, hurt our mental health, and also our spirituality. But quickly, just a little information about me. I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling. I'm also a professional mental health coach, a master certified mental health coach, and also I'm a marriage and couples repair specialist. And I basically say that I'm a relationship and mental health counselor and also a wellness educator. The Wholeness Project comes live every Monday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. So if you're online, please help share on our Facebook page, share on Instagram, and also the YouTube page so that other people can join us as we go on with this what's awesome live event. And what's the mission of this Wholeness Project? Is just to empower you, empower every individual towards wholeness in their family, their relationship, mental health, and spirituality. And if you want to get more information about us, you can check us on drill07.com and also fgicoaching.com. And one thing we are always here to do to provide you with the right strategies, the right techniques, and the right intervention that can help you regain wholeness and renewed focus in life. And quickly, a remedy that we're going to be looking at today as we talk about how to manage and master your emotions before they master you. We're going to be looking at the emotional crisis. We're going to look at what are emotions. We'll look at what drives emotional dysregulation. We'll look at the impact on the four pillars of the Wholeness Project. Then we now go into the tools like I always do. I want to use some practical tools and some practical steps that you can start running with that can help you to deal and to overcome all of the mental health or relational struggles that you might be dealing with. Then also we'll be looking at the CBT tools, how you can change your thinking as regards your emotions. We'll look at some DBT tools that can help you regulate your body when you're beginning to feel these high intense emotions. Then for those who are open up to spirituality, we're going to talk about some faith-based integration that can help you regain emotional wholeness. Then we'll give you a 7-day action plan that can help you manage your emotions. So if you're excited about this, let's make some quick progress. So quickly, what are emotions? So a lot of the time things happen to us. So the goal is how do we understand what's happening inside of us when external issues or external factors or internal factors triggers our emotions? How do we understand what is happening in us? Just a quick definition: emotions are neurobiological signals. So these are not things that are abnormal, but they are natural to us. They are neurological signals, message from your brain designed to alert, protect, and connect you. So every time you feel angry, you feel love, you feel emotions, they are alert. They just alert that your brain signals to protect, to connect, and to alert you. They are not the problem. So having those emotions, being angry, showing love, being disappointed, being heartbroken, they are not the problem. The actual problem is when we are not able to manage those emotions. They can lead us into the rabbit hole. They can break a lot of things in our lives. They can impact our families, impact our relationships, impact our mental health, and also impact our spiritualities. I'm going to be looking at three areas where how this emotion, what happens inside of you when your emotions are triggered. The first one is based on what we call the brain science. There's what we call the limbic system, which is your emotional brain. It fires first before logic. So, in other words, when some things are happening to you, the need for you to be reasonable doesn't come first. What comes first is the reaction. So your limbic system, which is your emotional brain, it fires first before logic. So you respond angrily, you respond with excitement, you respond with bitterness, you respond first with resentment before you want to think about a situation. That's what we call the amygdala, which tags event as threat or safe within milliseconds. So there's also a part of your brain that quickly tag events. So the ability for that particular function of your brain, it's either tag events as being a threat or has been safe. So when the first tagging that comes up is that this is a threat, your emotion is going to react that way. If it tags as this has been safe, your emotion is going to respond that way. There's also what we call the prefrontal cortex, which is your rational brain. It needs about 6 to 20 seconds to engage, which means sometimes when your limbic system, your amygdala comes into play, if you are not able to quickly, get your rational brain into play, I'm telling you, it can lead to something catastrophic. So stress hormones flood the body. Your cortisol, your adrenaline, your norepinephrine, norepinephrine, they flood the body a lot of the time. And so if you're not able to put them under control, you're not able to, activate your prefrontal cortex, this is going to affect how you respond in time of emotion. Then there's the chronic emotional flooding rewires neural pathways over time. So this takes some time for it to happen. That's why we must learn the skills, the strategies, the technique, because a lot of things are happening in your body in terms of your brain science, in terms of how your brain function when you are angry, when you are loving, when you're calm, when you're peaceful, when you're resentful, when you are bitter. So many things are happening within your body psychologically, and your ability to kind of remain calm in those moments matters a lot. Then with this, the emotional spectrum. At the emotional spectrum, we have the primary, we have the joy, we have fear, we have anger, we have sadness, we have disgust, we have surprise. These emotional spectrums, they are the reality of your life. And if we don't know how to manage our emotions, we might not be able to manage this emotional spectrum. So at the secondary level of our emotional spectrum, we have shame, we have guilt, we have envy, we have pride, we have loneliness, we have hope. Also, when things trigger you from within or without, if all of these things you don't know how to manage your secondary emotional spectrum, it can lead to a lot of distress in our lives. Then emotions live in the body. So the reality is, anytime you are angry, you can feel it in your body. Either your throat tightens up, your stomach drops. Sometimes I feel a lot of heat in my body when I'm emotionally activated. When I'm angry, I feel a lot of heat. Or when I want to do some things, when I want to send a text, when I want to alter something, I feel the emotion in my body. That's why it's a lot of people, when they are angry, you see they clench their fist. So that's why we always encourage, when you're bitter and angry, don't clench your fist, just keep your hands open. Otherwise, the moment you clench your fist, then you are building up those emotions in your heart. Then numbness is not peace. It is suppressed emotions a lot of the time because you don't want to say anything. You're angry, you're bitter, you're disappointed. You just go quiet. You just go on silent. It is not peace. You're just suppressing your emotion. It's just waiting for the right time. You see how you can explode. That's why I see a lot of people, they just explode after a long time. They've been suppressing their emotions. They've been suppressing how they feel. They're not communicating. They're not speaking out how they are feeling within themselves. But when time comes, you know what? They can just explode and it becomes very disastrous. Then the last part I want us to look as regard emotion is the regulated versus the dysregulated. When we talk about regulated emotions, you are able to pause, you are able to observe, you are able to choose a response. So this is where we are going today. How can you regulate your emotions? How can you discipline yourself? Yes, you're angry, you're bitter, you're disappointed. How can you pause? How can you observe? Then choose how you respond. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of skills to be able to do that. When you look at the dysregulated dimension, here you react impulsively. That's why when people just don't do anything, you snap. A lot of people snap. A lot of people get into anger rage because they are not able to manage their emotion. They're not able to regulate their emotion. And that's when people say quite a lot of things that they finally regret. Then there's what we call the window of tolerance. The window of tolerance is the zone where growth happens. So, how do you remain calm? Even in the face of being angry, in the face of being bitter, in the face of being insulted, in the face of being taken advantage of, how can you build that window of tolerance? That's when you get to that regulated space. Then hyperarousal, how do you avoid, because a lot of people become hyperarousal, that is, they rage, they panic, they become overwhelmed. How do you how do you master that part of your life? Then there's what we call the hyperarousal. Yeah, you shut down. A lot of people shut down, they associate, and they become numb. This today, for you, our goal is for you to feel your emotions, but don't feed it. When we just feel our emotions and we're able to regulate, we're able to pause, we're able to observe, we're able to choose a response, then we become masters of our emotions. They won't master us. But when we don't know how to master our emotions, we get into rage, we get into panic, we become overwhelmed, we shut down, we deassociate, we begin to live in two spaces, or we become numb. They would not help us get better. But let's be excited today. That is what the Wholeness Project is all about. We're here to provide you with the strategies, with the interventions, and the techniques that will help you manage your emotions. All right, let's see what we have next. Now, what drives emotional dysregulation? What are the root causes of emotional dysregulations? Why do we get angry? Why can't we control our emotions? Few things that I have here, six things actually. The first one is unhealed trauma. A lot of people have childhood wounds and attachment injuries. A lot of people are abused, they've experienced abuse, they've been neglected, or they have emotional abandonment. And so many people also, they have not processed their grief, that never had a safe space. When people have traumas, they can be easily emotionally triggered. That's why it's important you process your emotions, you process your wound. The Wholeness Project helps people in this pathway. We want to help you process your wound. We want to help you process your trauma, help you go the pains, those suppressed pain, those regressive attitude and behaviors. We want to be able to help you unpack them, bring them to the surface so that we can be on the path of healing. Because if you're not healed, you will not be able to regulate your emotions. The second one is this: negative core beliefs. Our beliefs also matters a lot. It triggers our emotional outbursts. For example, I am not enough, I am too much. These are emotions that are the far end spectrums. When we believe in this kind of path in our lives, it can lead to a lot of emotional dysregulation. Shame-based identity from early messages. So from the things you've been hearing growing up, saying you're not good enough, you're not going to make it. All of these things, when people say such things to you again, it triggers because it triggers your emotion, because these are part of your core beliefs. There's a lot of us have what we call the perfectionism. We Some of us are people pleasing. Some of us, we have fear of rejection. When all of these form our core beliefs, we can be easily dysregulated with our emotions. Then chronic stress, when there's financial pressure, when there are people are living on survival mode thinking, it causes emotional dysregulation. When there's relational conflict without resolution, it leads to emotional dysregulation. When there's compassion fatigue and caregiver burnout, so when you love, you're caring for others and you're not taking care of yourself, it can lead to emotional dysregulation. Biological factors, under biological factors, there's the nervous system wiring, so genetic and epigenetics, the way people were born, the way they are wired from from conception to when they were delivered, and their environment, it can impact, it can easily cause people to be emotionally dysregulated. Sleep deprivation and nutritional deficit also lead to emotional dysregulation. Hormonal imbalance, underlying conditions, all of this leads to emotional dysregulation. Then lack of skills also, and this is where we are very big. We know a lot of the times we may not have the right, we might not be in the right frame of mind. We do not know how to do quite a lot of these things. That's why we try to fill in the gap, because for you to manage your emotions, you need skills. So lack of skills, no one model healthy emotion regulation. So you don't see how people manage their emotions, how they manage their feelings. So you're just gonna live your life the way you see other people live their life. They grew up in a home that suppressed or exploded. So in a home where, hey, you can't say anything, or you can only be seen, you can't be heard, or you just see how sibling rivalry, parents fighting, uncles and auntie always explosive with their emotions, it can lead to that. They never learn to name, feel, or process emotion. And this is big for a lot of people. We have not named our emotions. We have not touched the part of our body where we feel those emotions. We have not even processed those emotions. Every time situations trigger them, they come alive. Then last one is spiritual emptiness. For those who practice spirituality, when you're disconnected from purpose, from meaning and identity, people can be easily emotionally dysregulated. When unforgiveness silently fueling bitterness, it leads to emotional dysregulation. Then absence of community, you don't have friends, you don't have family, you don't have group of people you can be accountable to, or they can be accountable to you. Then you will find that people might not be able to manage their emotions. So these are the factors that drives emotional dysregulation, and I don't want you to take them for granted. Every one of us in each of these boxes, we fall under it, underneath one of them. Either you have an unhealed trauma, you have a negative core beliefs, you have chronic stress, there are biological factors, there are lack of skills or spiritual emptiness. All of these things, if not properly managed, they can be root causes for you having emotional problems. A lot of people don't know how to manage their emotions. And today, I'm just here to share with you the strategies, the interventions, and the techniques that will help you manage your emotions. In other words, I'm saying feel your emotions, don't feed your emotions. So, there are four core areas that unmanaged emotion affect a lot. One, your family. When children absorb parents' emotional dysregulations as their baseline normal, a lot of kids just see parents fighting, quarreling, shouting, and screaming. What is going to happen? They will grow up to be those kind of individuals. When emotional outbursts create fear, hypervigilance, and insecure attachment in kids, when parents scream, shout, and create fear, it causes kids to become hypervigilant, and it causes them to have experience what we call insecure attachment. Unresolved emotional wounds passed down through generation. So if as parents we don't resolve our wounds, we can transfer them to our children, and they can transfer it to the next generation. Then home becomes a battleground instead of a safe haven. When there's always infighting, quarreling, a lot of the times it's going to affect the life circle of the family. Then parents who regulate well raise emotionally intelligent children. And that's the reality. When you know how to manage your emotions, you can also transfer that ability to your children to manage their emotions, so that they can manage such emotions in their own family and in other places that they find themselves. Then when it comes to relationship, emotional reactivity is the number one destroyer of intimacy. I can tell you that anytime that I'm not in a great place with my spouse, there is no intimacy. So if we're not able to manage our emotions, it breaks intimacy. It's the number one destroyer of intimacy. So when you hear people talking about, oh, I'm not intimate with my spouse, I'm not intimate with my wife, with my husband, with my partner, you know why? There is emotional reactivity in play. So we must manage our emotions. Then 42% of marriages end emotional issues. 42% of marriages end. Why? Emotional issues are a top driver. So when we don't resolve emotional issues in our relationships, it brings that relationship to an end. Unmanaged emotions create, pursue, withdraw, trauma bond. So it leads to a lot of trauma bond when you don't manage your emotions. What happened in the past comes into play. Why? Because emotions have not been properly managed. Then trust erodes when partners feel emotionally unsafe. When people feel emotionally unsafe, then trust gets out of the way. It flies out of the window. Emotionally healthy people build emotionally healthy love. So that's why it's important. Even before you go into a relationship, before you start a relationship, you must check your what I call your emotional intelligence. Are you able to manage your emotions? Because if you can't master your emotions, you will not be able to manage and master the emotions of other people. So managing your emotions is important in your relationship, not just in marriage, your workplace, your business, your place of worship, your faith community. It is important that you manage your emotions because if you don't, you can hurt other people's emotions. Then for your mental health, 1 in 5 US adults face a mental illness each year. That's true. 1 in 5 adults. And in the United States, there are over 330 million people. So you can imagine that amongst 339 million people, the 330 million people, and when you talk about over 8 billion people, and this statistics can be applicable globally, 1 in 5 adults, they have mental health issues. Suppressed emotions don't disappear, they go underground. So every time you are pissed, you are angry, somebody hurt your emotions, and you're not able to process it, you're not able to talk about it, you suppress it. And the moment you begin to suppress your emotion, you become bitter, you become resentful, you become unforgiving. You don't even, you might not even like who you are becoming because you are not processing your emotions, you are only suppressing it. Emotional dysregulation linked to anxiety, depression, and PTSD. A lot of us, when we don't know how to manage our emotions, it leads to PTSD, it leads to anxiety, it leads to depression. A lot of people are depressed today, a lot of people are anxious today. Why? Because we have not managed our mental health emotion, because there are emotions tied to your money. Emotion is tied to your money. Emotions are tied to your relationship. Emotion is tied to your work. You see, emotions govern everything we do. And if we do not master our emotions, then we master our lives. We will lose so many things. That's why feel it, don't feel it is important. And I'll be sharing great tools and resources for you to help you master your emotions, whether it be it at work, in your family, in your business, in your career. These strategies will work for you. Then, lastly, on spirituality, on managed emotions, block prayer, worship, and spiritual presence. So, whatever the religion you practice, whatever spirituality you practice, that believes in the power of fairness and justice, every time your emotions are not properly managed, you might not be able to connect to the supernatural. You not connect spiritually. The bitterness and unforgiveness are spiritual poverty. This is big. Every time we're bitter, every time we are unforgiving, then it's spiritual poverty. Then God gave us emotions. He did not give us permission to misuse them. Yes, we all have been given emotions. We cannot let those emotions spiral out of control. Then the fruit of the spirit requires emotional soil cultivation. So for us to grow in character, to grow in healthy nature as human beings, our emotions are very strategic in this process. Then healed emotions become the fuel for spiritual purpose. So when you're able to manage your emotions, you're able to heal your pains, your trauma, your failures, your disappointment, then you can make meaning, you can find meaning in every area of your life. Now, I'm going to be going on some practical tools that can help you manage your emotions. I've been sharing today on feel it, don't feed it. In other words, I'm saying manage your emotions before they master you, or master your emotions before they master you. Because if you don't master your emotions, if you don't have what I call emotional intelligence, you can practically ruin your world. A lot of people have missed the best thing that could ever have happened to them because they didn't manage their emotions. A lot of people have gotten into trouble, have gotten into catastrophic situations in their lives because they didn't subject their emotions, they didn't master their emotions. The first tool I want to quickly share here is on from the cognitive behavioral therapy, how you can change your thinking. Because when you change how you think, you're going to change how you feel, then you change how you act. So the first thing you want to do is name it to tame it. What is this emotion that I'm feeling? When you can name that emotion, is it anger? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it unforgiveness? Is it bitterness? Is it resentment? When you can name it, then you can tame it. So identify and label your emotion precisely. Research shows naming an emotion reduces its intensity by up to 50%. So if you can name it, you can reduce its intensity. Then catch the cognitive distortion. By cognitive distortion, we're talking about how is it distorting your thinking? How is it causing you to have a skewed and a negative perception of what is happening to you? So identify the thought driving the feeling. Is it catastrophizing? Am I just doing mind reading, or all or nothing thinking? What that means is, are you saying this happens to me always, or why is this always happening to me? Why me? Why did this happen? When we begin to distort our thinking process about the things that are happening to us, it can cause our emotion to spiral out of control. Then there's what I call the stop technique. Before you act on that emotion, the stop technique says stop, take a breath, observe what is happening inside, then proceed from values, not emotions. So a lot of the time, instead of, because you are angry, you are bitter, you are resentful, don't act on it. Just take some time, relax yourself, process what you're dealing with before you move on. Then number four, cognitive reframing. What do you do with cognitive reframing? You challenge the story. You ask, is there another explanation? What will I tell a friend? What is within my control? In other words, you are reframing the situation. Okay, this thing happened to me, but is it true? Did it really happen? Did I say it right? So when you reframe that thinking pattern, you are able to manage the process. Then behavioral activation, number five, act your way into a new feeling. So by behavioral activation, a lot of the times when you are angry and bitter, you want to withdraw. You don't want to talk. You don't want to say anything to anyone. You just want to mind your own business. But with behavioral activation, you want to walk your way into a new feeling. You want your mood to follow your action, because our moods always follows our actions. So change your environment, change that situation. Don't wait to feel like it before doing the healthy thing. Go out, do the workout, watch the movie, go on a date. Just do something different from the situation that is causing you to become sulking, you become angry, you become pissed. No, do something else. Just activate a new behavior. Then assertive communication. By assertive communication, what we mean there is express emotions without attack. A lot of the time, we want to express how we feel to other people, but instead of just truly expressing how we feel, we begin to speak words of anger, bitterness. You are expressing yourself, but you are angry in expressing yourself. The other person will not understand it. Just express. For example, I feel this when you do this because of this, and what I need is, in other words, you want to change the narrative. Somebody did something you didn't like, you tell the person, you did what you did made me feel this way. This is what I expect from this situation. You are becoming assertive, and you are communicating it instead of being resentful, being quiet, and not talking about this. You can become numb, you can have repressed emotion, and it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to depression, it can lead to PTSD, and it can become a trauma in your life. You want to be able to avoid all of those things. All right, great. Another quick tool that I'm going to share here that can help. So I always present two different kinds of tools: the cognitive behavioral therapy tools and the dialectical behavioral therapy tools that can help you regulate your emotion. That's what I call the tip skill. What you basically do here is, when you are emotionally drained, when you are angry, do this tip skill. By temperature, pour cold water on yourself. Do intense exercise. Do pace breathing. You can do 4 count in, 1, 2, 3, 4. You take in, you hold it for 2 seconds, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Then you exhale through your mouth, 6 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this will relax your body when you do pace breathing. That is what we call progressive relaxation. So you tense all your muscles from your feet to your neck. By the time you start releasing those muscles, you feel better. This is how you can manage your emotions. There's what we call the dare man. You can use the dare man to express yourself and get what you need. So you describe the emotions, you express it, you assert what you need, you reinforce you reinforce what you expect. You become mindful, you are not distracted, you appear confident, then you negotiate. This is how we manage our emotions. You're not trying to please the other person, but you're just trying to express how you feel and how you believe that things can move on. Then there's what we call the accept. Sometimes all our emotions can lead to distress. So what do you want to do? You need to do activities. You want to contribute. You want to do some comparison. You want to do some emotions, the opposite action. You want to push away temporarily. You want your thoughts to be effective. Then you also want your sensations to be activated, using of eyes, peppermint smell that can help you just be in the moment. All of these techniques, all of these practices, they help you to be in the moment so that that emotion that is going to come out like an explosion is effectively managed. And if you want more tips about this, all you need to do is to send us a mail, reach out to us, give us a phone call. We can walk you through practically how you can continue to use these skills to manage high tense emotions. Then for faith-based integration, for those who believe in prayers and the use of the scriptures, you can use prayers and the scriptures to manage your emotions. Remember this scripture so much. It's Proverbs 25:28. It says, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. This is very big. If we can control ourselves, control our emotions, we expose ourselves to so many dangers. So many dangers. If you can control your emotions, if you can regulate your emotions, you can manage it, you expose yourself to different things. And so this strategy is to help you from a spiritual perspective to manage your emotion. Prayer as emotional processing. The Psalms encourage you. In other words, I'm saying through prayers, you can process your emotions. You can pray about how you're feeling. You can pray about the situation because God is not afraid of your anger, your grief, or your despair. Just tell God. That's what I always say to my clients. Look, God is not angry at you because you are angry at him. God wants you to tell him how you feel. Are you going through a loss? You're experiencing a grief? You're experiencing a despair? Process it in the place of prayer. And you see how you will exchange a lot of strength from God. Then renew the mind. Scriptures help to rewire the thought patterns. Let the scriptures help you to rewire your thought pattern. Always say, agree with the truth of God's word. Then what you feed grows, what you start dies. So feed the truth. Every time you are feeding that emotional disappointment, it grows. Every time you're feeding that anger, that bitterness, yes, he hurt your emotion. Yes, he disappointed you. Yes, she disappointed. Yes, she said some things she shouldn't have said, but you don't want to feed it. A lot of the times, why we feel drained mentally and emotionally is because we are feeding the pain. Stop feeding the pain. Can I say that again? Feel it, don't feed it. Don't feed that negative words you heard. Because the more you feed the negative words, the more it hurts your emotions. But what is the truth? What is the truth? The scriptures gives you the truth. What does God say about you? Feed your mind on God's truth, even in every area of your life, your business, your finances, your health, your relationship. Look for the truth. Don't look for what the actions or inactions of people are causing you to feel. Then daily affirmations grounded in the identity of Christ. When you keep repeating words, because the things that are hurting your emotions, they are words. Words hurt your emotions. Actions hurt your emotions. So you need opposite actions and opposite words to make you to think the way God sees you. Then replace the lie driving emotion with the truth of God's word. A lot of the things that triggers your emotions, they are lies. We always say feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. So look for the fact. What's the fact? It's the truth of God's word. Use it to drive your emotions. Then unforgiveness. Forgiveness is the ultimate release that will help you manage your emotions better. Unforgiveness keeps you emotionally imprisoned to the offender. Listen to that again. Unforgiveness keeps you emotionally imprisoned to the offender. When you are unforgiving to the individual that has hurt your emotion, you become imprisoned to that person. Then forgiveness received through forgiving others. When you forgive others, you also receive forgiveness from God. Forgiveness is a decision, not a feeling. Feelings follow choice. So you have to make the choice. I have to make the choice. A lot of emotional stress and pain that have caused me, I've learned to forgive. When you don't forgive, there's no way the feeling of excitement will come. You forgive for your freedom, not their absolution. This is big. It's for your sake. When you forgive others, I'm not saying recreate, build, or rebuild it. No, apart from marital context. Look, you when you forgive, is for your own freedom, is for your own liberty. Then lastly, community and spiritual disciplines. So when you safety in a multitude of godly counsel means to people, talk to therapists, talk to pastoral counselors, talk to psychologists, talk to people who are trained and skilled in what you are dealing with. They can help you go through it. Talk to us in FGI Solutions. Reach out to us. We can work with you. Are you dealing with emotional issues, relational issues, life issues, mental health issues? We will work with you. So reach out to counselors that can help you. Learn to rest because Sabbath rest restores the emotionally depleted nervous system. Take time to rest. Sometimes don't do anything. Just sleep. Just rest. And you will be fine. Then worship shifts your focus from your pain to God's power. And this is beautiful. Every time you're in pain, worship God. Put on the music. Sing to songs. Dance. Say, Lord, I hand it over to you. And you see how you can overcome those emotional stress. Then lastly, accountability partners interrupt emotional reactivity partners. What that means, patterns, when you have somebody you trust, somebody you can talk to, when you know you want to explode because you are angry or you want to act on some habit or behaviors that you know can cause you harm and pain, give somebody a call. I have quite a lot of people in my orbit I can call that calls me, "Ah, look, this is about to happen. Please, what do I do?" So let's learn to have one or two persons that we can be accountable to that will help us manage your emotions. When I'm really angry and pissed off, there are one, two, three, four persons I can call. This is how I'm feeling. This is how, and they will talk. By the time they talk, I listen to them and I act on their counsel. This will help you overcome emotional dysregulation. All right, two more slides to go. Two more slides to go. I want to leave with you your 7-day emotional mastery challenge. That's what I do. I want you to go check out all our episodes. I always leave with our audience the 7-day challenge. For your emotional mastery challenge, what I want you to do, day one, feel it. So feel the emotions. I'm not saying pretend as if you didn't feel the pain, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the joy, the love. That's no, I'm saying feel it. Keep an emotional journal. Write it down. When you journal, you bring your thought into a place where you can process it better. Then breathe. Practice the 4-2-6 breathing techniques at least 3 times a day. I want you to do this. So, for example, the first four you do, you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold 1, 2. Then you exhale through your mouth slowly, 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do this 3 times every day. You will notice how your body will shift within 60 seconds because you want to take away the dangers that comes with not regulating your emotions. Then name it. Name your emotion. Name the feeling. Are you angry? Are you disappointed? Are you sad? Are you mad? Name it. Name that emotion. Because the moment you name it, then you know what you begin to do. Then challenge it. So don't just name it and sit with it and process it and be angry. No, challenge it. Take one recurring emotional trigger. Write the automatic thought driving it. What is causing me to feel mad? Why am I angry? Why am I jealous? What happened? Challenge it. Then express it. Use the DMM formula that I stated earlier. Express this and tell yourself what you need to do. Then release it. You can write a forgiveness letter to someone that hurt you. You can do a lot of things that will help you release that, then celebrate it. By the end of your week, review what you have done. I want you to do this always. You see, these little things, they help a lot. When you follow this 7-day emotional mastery challenge, it will help you overcome whatever emotional struggles you are dealing with. And if you're still struggling, all you need to do is just send us a mail, give us a call, book an appointment. We're going to talk about it. We're going to walk with you to deal with all of this challenge. I want to thank you again for joining me as I take on this last slide I've been talking about today. Feel it, but don't feel it. How you can master your emotions before it masters you. It's very important. It's very important. Your emotions are not your enemy. So that you're feeling bitter, you're feeling angry, you're feeling hatred, you're feeling disappointed. No, those are real feelings. They are neurological messages that your brain is sending for you to be alert, for you to protect yourself, for you to take the right actions. They are great. But what I don't want you to do is to feed them. When you are angry, when somebody steps on your toe, when people say wrong things about you, when people hurt your emotions, when your spouse, your children, your boss, or your client, don't react. Take time to pause, process it before you react. Understand this, that your emotions are not your enemy. They are messengers calling you to wholeness. In other words, you have to feel it, you have to name it, you have to process it, you have to master it, and don't feed it. That's what you need to do with your emotions. Feel it, name it, process it, master the emotions. Remember, if you don't have control over your emotions, you expose yourself. You become you become I don't think you're going to like yourself. I like to be in control of my emotions. I get angry, I get pissed, I can be bitter sometimes, I can be resentful, but I don't let them master my life because I want to continue to have control over my emotions. Because if you don't master your emotions, it will hurt your family, it will hurt your relationships, it will hurt your mental health, and lastly, it's going to hurt your spirituality. Thank you for joining me today. You can go back and watch this video again. It's going to be on our YouTube page, Joel Osebo. It's going to be on the Facebook page. It's also going to be on the Instagram page. Our goal in the Wholeness Project is to help you restore your wholeness and to have renewed focus in every area of your life. Are you dealing with relationship issues? You're dealing with mental health related issues? Whatever those issues are, you can trust us to walk with you on this journey. And you can get more information from us on our website, joelosebo.com or fgicoaching.com, or you can send us email at joel.osebo@fragranceofgrace.org, or you give us a call +1 443 949 9815. I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been an amazing time just being here with you. I look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. We're going to be bringing another amazing episode on how you can regain wholeness and have renewed focus in every area of your life. Thank you so much for joining me today, and bye for now. It's your friend Joel Osebo.